Hey YouTube, it's me, MTG Angel. I wanted to talk about Riftbound. Riftbound has been a very interesting card market, and I'm primarily talking about investing and flipping Riftbound cards, so the financials of it. Now, I'll briefly note the game's really fun. It's very fun, and the resource system is much better than Magic the Gathering can do, just because it's a newer resource system. Newer systems mean they fixed a lot of the problem, which is like getting mana screwed. Doesn't really happen in Riftbound. I mean, yeah, you can get screwed a little bit, but it's not going to be the sustained type of like bloat screw. So I love that. But going specifically to the cards, I've noticed something very different between Riftbound and the GOATs, which is stuff like Magic the Gathering and Pokemon, and maybe even One Piece now. I'm not entirely sure about that market. Now, the thing about those games is there's already a lot of sellers and investors and financial minds there. So, if you know anything about blue ocean strategy, it's if you enter Magic the Gathering or Pokemon, you're going to where all the fishermen are. Riftbound, on the other hand, is like going to wherever there's no fish or no fishermen. So you're the only one who can just clean house. And that's what I've noticed. You have items like the World 2025 bundle, which at its low, when it was finally the embargo was lifted, I think it went on sale for like $100. You could have been buying them all day. At the low, when the embargo got lifted, it was about $250. So about a modest 2.5x. I think the lowest you could have bought it was about $200. So a modest 2x. But someone could have went in on that, and now maybe 2 months later, you would be looking at a $350 heading up to $400 investment. Not only that, but there's one card in it that could break even your whole investment. The Teemo, the Swift Scout Teemo, could break even or maybe even profit you on any of those bundles you bought. You could be riding over with those deck boxes, the collectible deck boxes, the collectible battlefields, the mat. And so, yeah, Riftbound, there's a lot of opportunity in Riftbound. There's also the Arcane Secret Lair, that one, well, the Secret Lair-esque product. Now, that one is interesting because it has some strong cards in it. And because Riftbound's so new, some of these cards aren't yet playable entirely. So, I would love to see the history for this and see how this one develops. Now, when it was launched, you could have got them for $70. I think the lowest you could have been buying them the other day was about $150, $160. So maybe about a 2.5x, and you could have been entering it. And now they're looking to head up to 200 and slowly up to the 300s. Now, any of those, you could be honestly selling the singles right now and rebuying the whole Secret Lair and making money. Now, that's kind of the surface stuff, is the Secret Lairs. And if you've ridden it out this long with me, I'm going to get right into the single specs and the real big plays that you could be making right now in Riftbound. Go ahead and leave me a comment. Let me know if you're actually entering Riftbound as a seller or a player and how you're enjoying it. Personally, I've loved the pre-releases. Now, straight into what I'm doing for specs. There is a lot of cards that are sleepers. There is a lot of cards that are very playable. There's a lot of cards that are becoming these staple cards. And the prices move quickly, overnight. Right now, Draven is fully meta. So if you have a Draven card that supports any Draven deck, that card's already probably spiked. You can almost expect that you should be selling those into the strength of this market. And whenever Draven rotates out, or whenever they put someone else that might, overthrow Draven or be competitive, or maybe even just make the Draven decks not as dominating, well, then he's going to fall off, and other cards and other colors are going to come fully into rotation. So right now, the main color is going to be purple. If you have purple support, you're thriving. And that's not going to be the case. So I would definitely recommend picking up some of these seals of any of the other colors. because the purple seal is $60+ and some of them are only $10 right now. These are the equivalent of Mox opals, Mox sapphires, rubies, diamonds. So you want to be picking these up now before the pump. On top of that, you have many of these cards or staples that are just like 30, 40, 50 cents. You could be speccing all day, and if any of them pop off, you would just like 5, 10, 20x. It's a little different than Magic the Gathering specs, because with Magic the Gathering specs, the supply is just so vast sometimes, and the meta changes aren't as drastic. Whereas because there's not that many decks for Riftbound, every set is going to completely warp the meta, you know. If you think about it, it's like, let's say the first set had 100 cards. Let's say every set has 100 cards, which I know it's not like that, but let's just say. Each set right now is almost 50%, 33%, 25% is of the entirety of the meta is going to be in each new set. So yes, that will have diminishing returns as sets come out and go out of rotation. But right now it's just so drastic. So definitely recommend picking up some cards from any of these sets, anything that you might like. If the champion you like, maybe you look at the power and you think, that's quite strong. I'm speaking more of stuff like Heimerdinger, where his effect is godly, but because there's not that much, he's not in the meta yet, so of course he's a sleeper. And yes, he's an arcane secret layer card, so I'd recommend picking up some of those Heimerdingers. You have some cards that are strong, but just, you know, they're not exactly being so dominant yet, or maybe they're creeping up. Like you have the Malzahar. You have stuff like Discipline. Discipline is a crazy strong card. It's draw 1 and might 1 on reaction. That's free draw, and that's free power. Sorry, is it might 2? All I know is that's a card that can definitely swing some games in the future. I mean, a cheap draw spell is always going to be something that's considered, especially in a game like Riftbound, where they could be putting out some cards that work kind of like, if you ever played Hearthstone, there is a Sorcerer's Apprentice type card where everything costs 1 less. And if they have anything like that in green, or any of the green adjacent type of legends, you know, someone that maybe splashes green in or has something else splashed in, well, then you could be looking at some crazy combos with stuff like Discipline. So I would highly recommend right now, as Riftbound is new, looking into some of these cards to spec, looking to see what you like. Maybe there's some art that you like. The signature cards or the overnumbered cards, they're cheap right now. They're actually cheap right now. They can get so expensive. Yes, the Ari and some of these overnumbered are $200. I consider that cheap when you have some of these top hits being priced at thousands of dollars. And you have a card like the Teemo Swift Scout, you know, one of the few rare alternate arts being priced at $250. You don't think some of these signature cards, these chase cards, you don't think they can go higher? I think they can go way higher. And I'm not trying to say put all your money into one basket. I'm saying look around at the market. See what opportunities. Maybe there's something that you literally could bring $1,000 to and buy out the entire market. There's a lot of cards like that you could literally bring like $500 to, and 2 to 3x the price on the open market, forcing people to come out of the closet with their specs or their inventory, and forcing them to drive the price way higher. Because once their inventory is drained from the market due to your pump, well, that's not coming back for a long time. You're going to have to wait for reprints for stuff like that to come back. Some things I would avoid is anything that you'd find in the Proving Grounds, because the Proving Grounds will be reprinted. You know, Flash is just way too expensive. So I would not be investing in Flash or anything from Proving Grounds. I would be steering away. But some of these exclusive cards, or, you know, any of the same angles that you might apply to Pokemon or Magic the Gathering, or maybe even One Piece, because One Piece might even be more of a more similar, more close to Riftbound at this point since it's so new. Riftbound would be like the infancy of One Piece. So take that same mentality and apply it and see where it gets you. Thanks for watching the video. like I said, let me know what you're doing. Let me know if there's any plays you're having. One play I'm making right now is going to be on stuff like Sabotage, Stacked Deck, some of those cheaper uncommons and commons, some of these cheaper rares like Twisted Fate, Malzahar, anything that's, 30, 40, 50 cents a rare, why not pick up a handful? To be honest, some of these cards that are 30, 40, 50 cents, I'm already selling for $3, $4 each. So why not pick up more than just what I need and kind of spec on it and see what happens? So that's pretty much it, guys. Take care. Peace.